Hi there, my name's Alan Baxter. I am a British Australian writer of horror and dark fantasy and crime and mystery and noir and all sorts of other things. It's my absolute pleasure to do a reading for StokerCon this year. I'm going to read from The Fall, which is the second Tales from the Gulp collection. The first was The Gulp, 5 tales of horror set in the isolated harbour town of Culpeper, a strange, weird little Australian harbour town where strange, weird things happen. 5 novellas in The Gulp set things up and introduced a lot of issues. 5 more novellas in The Fall, which came out in April. And it's not so much a sequel as a continuation of what went on in The Gulp. A lot of questions are answered and some new questions are asked, and lots more weird, strange stuff happens in Culpeper. So The Fall consists, as I said, of 5 stories. Those stories are Culpeper Curios, Cathedral Stack, That Damn Woman, Excursion Troop, and The Fall, the title story. So for my reading today, I'm going to read a little bit from Cathedral Stack, the second story in the collection. This story follows a crew of fisher folk on a boat called the Gulping Mermaid. Run by Paul Colley. There's a skeleton crew of 5 people and they're out fishing and they're trying to make up their money before a storm comes in. But what they do is they avoid Cathedral Stack, which is the name of a rock formation off a few kilometres off the coast of Culpeper. And they've decided that to try to get their catch in, they're going to go past Cathedral Stack, but they're going to go straight past it and keep a safe distance. And that's where this section of the story picks up. So I'm going to read from that part. So basically, I'll start at the bit where the captain, Collie, decides that they are going to go in that direction. And I'll just read a few pages, see what goes down. Collie shook his head. I've been watching the currents and the sonar. There's a good catch here, I know it. We'll trawl past Cathedral Stacks, staying west of them. You sure there'll be a catch? Kate pointed at the clear blue sky. You said we'd be fighting a storm all day. Sweat sheened all of them from the work, a gentle nor'easterly blowing, but not not enough to cool the heat of the late summer day. That storm will come in, you fucker, Collie said without looking at her. Don't doubt me. That's why I'm in a hurry. They shrugged and moved back to their station. An hour later, the tall rocks of Cathedral Stacks appeared ahead. They rose dark grey from the ocean and strangely uniform, almost as though they'd been built. They earned their name from the resemblance to a massive holy building, not quite cruciform, but high in the centre, branching off in 4 roughly even directions, one side a little longer than the rest. Below the surface, the rocks continued, treacherous peaks slowly dropping away all around. Some of the submerged rocky peaks were only a couple of metres under the waves, and every captain knew to give the stack a wide berth. Haul the nets, Collie shouted from the bridge, and the crew did as he asked. They had a half-decent haul, and worked to tip the silvery thrashing catch into the huge fish bins amidships, kept fresh with seawater cooled by the motor. Harry kept glancing at Kate, unable to believe they were finally going to go out. She offered sly smiles when she saw him looking. Benito worked hard and concentrated, his short-fingered, strong brown hands always busy. Jenny moved smoothly, a kind of grace about the way she worked. They were certainly short-handed, but they'd got an internal rhythm going that made them efficient. Harry looked up to watch the imposing rocks of Cathedral Stack slide by, a good couple of 100 metres to the port side. He hoped it was far enough. A glance over the gunwale showed him a kind of cityscape under the waves, dark grey and black peaks and troughs disappearing into the darkness of pelagic depths. He wondered how far it was to the ocean floor around there and how far the rocks spread out further down. They were unusual, not really fitting any obvious geological origin he could discern. They always made him nervous. He'd be glad when they were past them. The ship tilted alarmingly to starboard, a hollow metallic clang ringing out. The crew yelped in shock, grabbing for gunwales or the side of the fish bin to keep their feet. The fuck, Cap? Jenny yelled. She took off her ball cap and straightened her glasses. We hit a rock? Collie appeared at the bridge door, eyes wide. Everyone okay? The fuck did we hit? Harry asked. Nothing, Collie said. Something hit us. What? Appeared on sonar, then vanished again, really fast. There was a moment of confused silence, then Benito said, "Whale?" "Maybe," the captain said, "but I don't." Another boom resounded through the deck and the boat lurched again. It seemed to shift down deeper than natural, like something had a hold of it. Then it bobbed up again. The crew staggered, held on tightly, knuckles white, eyes wide. "What the fuck is it?" Kate asked no one in particular. Collie killed the engine and a tense silence sank over the entire boat as they drifted, listening. Cautiously, Harry moved to the side and looked over. He saw nothing but water and the outlines of the deeper parts of Cathedral Stack. Nothing close enough for the boat to have hit. Nothing moved. The ocean all around sat calm. Dark clouds had begun to gather on the horizon a little south. "Storm coming," Jenny said. "Told ya." Collie eyed the waters all around. "Fuckers doubting me." "We're sinking." They all turned to look at Benito, who stood calmly near the stern. "Say what now?" Collie asked. Benito sniffed. "Should check below. We'll be taken on water." "He's right," Harry said, nerves rippling through him. He looked over one side, then astern. "We're listing, aft and starboard." The deck level began to tilt more rapidly, leaving no doubt in anyone's mind and no need to check below. "Shit," Kate said. "Dinghy!" Collie yelled, and all hands ran to pull the tarp from the large rubber outboard slung in a cradle on the port side. Benito cranked the handle to lower it as the stern of the Gulping Mermaid dipped ever quicker. "My fucking boat," Collie said as the dinghy hit the water and they piled in. "Push off or it'll suck us down with it," Harry said. With hands and oars they pushed hard against the side of the Mermaid as the bow began to come free of the gentle waves. It rose ever quicker, the ocean boiling around the stern end as the boat stood up almost vertical. They drifted away from it as the Mermaid gurgled and thumped, kit shifting around on deck and below. Then the vessel slipped gracefully under the surface and was gone. "Fucking hell," Collie wailed. "What the fuck just happened? She was my everything, my livelihood." "All our livelihoods," Harry muttered. It wasn't loud enough for Collie to hear, but Kate caught it and put a hand on his knee, squeezed. "What could have hit us hard enough to cause that kind of damage?" Benito asked, "for the Mermaid to sink that fast?" "Well," Jenny glanced at Collie, then plunged on. "If we did hit a rock and it tore open the hull..." "We did not hit a fucking rock," Collie snapped. "I know what I'm doing. Been doing it since before most of you fuckers were even sucking a tit. Besides, look, you can see there's nothing around. The water's clear enough." "He's right," Harry said. "We didn't hit anything. We're a safe distance from the stack." "So," Benito said quietly, "what the hell could have opened the hull enough to cause that?" He gestured vaguely at where the Gulping Mermaid had gone down. Kate licked her lips, shook her head. "It's a steel hull. Tough as fuck, the old boat." "Old, but bloody sturdy." Collie stared at the empty water. "I took good care of her." "You did." Harry put a hand on Collie's shoulder. "I'm sorry, Paul." Collie nodded once, then turned to pull the starter on the outboard. "Let's get back. It'll take hours to motor in from out here in this little bastard. I hope the insurance comes good." "We'll all write you affidavits or whatever," Jenny said. "You know, make sure the insurance company knows it wasn't your fault or negligence or anything." "What will we tell them it was then?" They all turned to look at Benito. He shrugged, left the question hanging. Collie stood, ready to yank the starter. "Whatever, let's just get back." The dinghy bucked in the water and the front end quickly deflated. The crew cried out, shifting back. Harry caught a glimpse of something long and black whipping away into the depths again. Then everything was lost in panic. The dinghy rapidly took on water, far faster than they could get it back out again, and it was clear in seconds it was going down too. "Swim for the fucking rocks!" Collie yelled. Then they were all in the water, clawing furiously towards the dark pinnacles a couple of 100 metres away. Harry's heart hammered. Every stroke, every kick, he imagined something black and glistening writhing up from the depths to wrap around a limb and drag him down. He kicked and hauled, saltwater burning his eyes and throat, trying to breathe through gasps of panic that were almost sobs. He vaguely registered the others thrashing alongside him, kept an eye only for Kate, who was right next to him. Her face was in the water and she swam hard, slowly gaining on him. He matched her, eyes closed, refusing to look into the darkness and rocks below. All he needed was solid ground of some kind. He had to be out of the water. But then what? There are a lot of stories about Cathedral Stack and why people stayed the hell away from it. "Help her!" someone yelled. Harry found his hands scraping on stone and pulled himself up from the water. It was Collie shouting, pointing to Jenny. "Lost my fucking glasses!" she spat. "Everything's a blur." Benito and Collie pulled her onto the rocks. Kate was already up and offered Harry a hand. They all scrambled back and sat gasping for breath, staring out across the calm, empty ocean. What the fuck did that? They all knew what Benito meant. Did anyone see anything? Harry asked, reluctant to admit what he'd seen. You saw it too, Jenny said. He looked at her. The black thing? More than one. There were loads of them, like a giant anemone or something, but one stretched up, opened the dinghy right across the front. What are you on about? Collie asked. I saw it too, was about to yell, but it was too late. Harry saw it too. Collie turned to him and Harry nodded. I did, like a massive tentacle or something. I only saw the one that slashed at the boat. Tentacle holding a knife, was it? Collie demanded. Cat, I don't know. The dinghy got hit and I saw it whipping away back down deep. No time to see detail. Sounds deliberate, Benito said. Deliberate? Kate asked. First the mermaid, then the dinghy, deliberately stranding us here. All right, let's shut this ship down right now, Collie said. We all know the stories. Cathedral Stack is haunted, there are sirens here, monsters in the deep, it's fucking cursed, what have you. Sailors always make up yarns about dangerous places. Helps to remind everyone to stay the fuck away. That wasn't just a story that sank 2 boats, Benito said. They fell into silence, still breathing hard. For a few minutes, they simply existed, with their own thoughts, letting the afternoon sun dry their clothes. Harry tried not to consider too hard the things they'd seen. When there's a problem, his father used to say, don't concentrate on the problem itself. That's wasted effort. You know the problem, so spend your efforts on the solution. He pulled his phone from his pocket. Waterproof mobile phones had been a godsend to fishermen and anyone else who worked on or near the water. He tapped it open and then frowned. No reception. Kate and Collie checked theirs and came up with the same result. We're not that far out, Harry said. We normally get a bar or two when we're trawling. Mine was on the boat with my bag, Jenny said. Benito grunted. Mine too. Just as well I was compass enough to grab this then, Collie said. He pulled a bright yellow plastic EPIRB from his pocket. The radio beacon on the mermaid should be going off as well, but it might be too deep already. Who knows? But I grabbed my personal one as we legged it. He turned it on and climbed up a couple of metres to a higher, clearer area of rock and wedged it in tight. The light inside blinked, brightening the dark crevice. Let's see how long that takes to reach someone. Harry stood and moved to one side for a better view of the stack. Spend our whole lives avoiding this place. Now we're stuck on it, he muttered. Tell Alanis Morissette to write a song about it, Jenny said. And things only get worse for the crew from then on, because any stories involving the Gulp don't go super well for most people involved. I hope you enjoyed that section. I hope it whet your appetite, as it were. I hope you'll give the Gulp and the Fall a go. Regardless, I hope you have an awesome StokerCon. I wish I could be there. I'm going to have massive FOMO about seeing everybody posting online about it. But hopefully I'll get out of the shores of Australia, get back over to the US next year with any luck. Fingers crossed. Thanks everyone. Great to see you. Well, I can't see you, but I will see you online at StokerCon and hopefully in person before long. Take care everyone. Thanks for listening. Bye now.